everybody, welcome back to Monroe's Corner. I am again your host, Marylynne, not Monroe. And today's going to be a day full of exciting topics, and I just hope you're all ready for the ride. So let's just go ahead and jump into our word on the corner. Okay, so today's word in the corner goes with one of my youthful favorite rappers, Bow Weezy, or as he calls himself now, Shad Moss, or Shad Moss. Anyway, so as you all know, he was previously dating a young lady named Erica Mena from Love and Hip Hop New York, and they were engaged and everything, ready to get married, and something happened where they kind of fell off and broke up, and it was messy as heck. Let's not cuss on TV. Oh, we're not on TV, we're on YouTube. So, anyways, he has found his way back into the arms of his baby's mother, Joy Chavez. They have, I believe, a 3-year-old little girl. You know, I'm happy for them. They're kind of making themselves able to love each other again, and I think it's good because I think as a young girl, their daughter's gonna want to see their mom and dad in good relations, and you know, even if they're just being friends and they're just shouting each other out on social media. If you follow social media, you'll see that he's often posting pictures of her and, you know, shouting out her clothing line, or, you know, doing little hearts underneath her pictures. So if this is what you're doing, Bow Wow, I think it's a great move. I think she's a beautiful girl. She's a big time fitness fanatic, health food fanatic, has a wonderful clothing line, and I think you guys make a good power couple. As far as Erica Mena goes, just let her go, let her be. She's crazy, she's loud, but you know, she's also a woman, and I just wish she found love as well. Now let's move on to another great segment of mine called Words of Wisdom. Alright, so today's words of wisdom come from a great American president, Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt, or FDR. And his words of wisdom are, we cannot always prepare the future for our youth, but we can prepare our youth for the future. Now this is a powerful statement to me because I feel it says, instead of us trying to build the best technology or the best skyscrapers or whatever for our youth, we should try and build the internal person that is your child. If your child doesn't have a good moral stand, does not have a good vision of compass to whatever they want their life to be, no matter how wonderful the future is, they will never truly be prepared. A lot of that has to do with having a strong faith background. If they're not in the church or in whatever religion that you guys raised them to be, if they're not strong in that religion, then when they become adults, they'll be weakened by what society throws at them. If you not teach your child how to be prepared to take on whatever life throws at them, then they'll never be prepared for that future. So, as FDR said, stop worrying about preparing the future for your child. Let's focus on preparing that child for that future that you dream for them to have. This works very perfectly with the topic of today, which is going to ring true to all of us. So I hope you guys all, you know, pay attention to what we're discussing, and if you have any input on this discussion, please leave it in the comment box and we'll definitely revisit this discussion again. Now, the topic that we're going to discuss today is one that I've always carried with me growing up here in the United States, and that's the difference between young Americans or young African Americans today versus young African Americans in the past. Now, what I mean by this is, after studying a lot of historical things that have gone on, after watching Martin Luther King and all his efforts were, as well as Malcolm X, as well as the Black Panthers, as well as all African Americans who were fighting for the rights to be American, to the rights to be treated as equal as the white man. I honestly believe that the young people of today, us, have kind of let our ancestors down a little bit. And by that I mean we don't carry ourselves with the same esteem that our ancestors did. Now, I'm from Kenya, so I don't have a particular connection with the slavery days of America. I don't have a particular connection with the civil rights movement. But being that I am labeled African American when I live here, being that I have to sign African American when I fill out a job application or when I'm in school, I do take it very seriously when I see people who have those ancestors and they disrespect the struggles of those ancestors. Young African American men, if you look at people like Malcolm X, at Martin Luther King, the way they carried themselves in a time of struggle. They woke up each morning and got ready and dressed accordingly. You're already being judged for being African American and having darker skin. But they made sure that when they walked out of that house, they looked like they meant business. They looked like we are gonna fight for our rights. They had on a suit and a tie, and even on a Saturday, they still looked presentable. Now, I'm not saying that the young fashion that is today is not according. Fashion moves with the times, but what I'm saying is, instead of you walking around town with your shirt off, sagging your pants, you know, facial tattoos and etc. You're just kind of fueling the stereotype that's already out there about black people. Look at your grandfathers and your grandfathers and how they dressed and how proud they were when they put on that hat or that suit or that tie, because it meant that even though you don't think that I'm a real man, even though you, white politician, doesn't think that I deserve the right to vote, I will dress like I deserve the right to vote. Even if I'm working in a mill, even if I'm working in the cotton field, I will walk through that cotton field dressed like I deserve to be treated like an American. I will dress like you white men are dressed, maybe even better. And we need to regain that belief in ourselves. Young African American women, you look at Rosa Parks, you look at all the other young African American women who were living in that time. Their bodies were only viewed for their bodies. They were only sexual objects in the past. Your main job as a black African American woman was to just give birth to children, right? If you were a slave and you were a black woman, you were either raped by your slave master if you were of a particular status in the community. You were either a housemaid taking care of the white woman's babies. You were viewed as lesser, even lesser than the African American man. And women of the past fought so hard to make sure that we have the right to become the Michelle Obamas of today. But if we continue to use our bodies, if we continue to shame ourselves with our bodies, we will never make the progress we need to make. African American women are still deemed lesser. Even today, even though you think you're walking around with your Louis Vuitton purse, your Chanel slippers, your $500 hair, that does not mean liberty, does not mean freedom or liberation in any way. That just means that you're masking or you're using those objects to mask the shame that still carries within you, knowing that when you walk into a job and you're wearing this tight outfit and etc., that man that you're interviewing with, he's still a man. He's still gonna look at you as an African American woman who has, you know, large this and large that, and he's gonna view you as a sexual object. But if you walk in there with a clear mind, knowing I am not just my body, you're not gonna judge me off my body but off my mind, then you can set a new trend. We can set a new trend as women. And so I am pushing all of you young African Americans out there. Let's wake up. Let's be liberated. Let's stop this whole, we're living in our own cocoon of black culture, which is rap and hip hop, which is fine. I love rap and hip hop. But use those platforms to speak truth. You know, shout out to Kendrick Lamar. You're doing a wonderful job. Your albums and your music, they have that rhythm and the beat that we love in hip hop, but you're also speaking words of wisdom to these young people, letting them know that don't be blind to what's going on. Don't be blind to what's going on in Ferguson. It's not cool that you're in Ferguson burning down your city. That's your city. You go and riot and you throw a bottle of fire into a Walmart and burn it down, and you go jumping on cars and creating chaos in your city. When you wake up the next morning, it's not the government that's going to feel that pain. It's you, because you messed up your community. Have we not learned peaceful protests, walking hand in hand? That's the kind of protest that will make our ancestors proud and show them that we do appreciate the efforts they went through to give us a chance to become the first African American president or the future African American president. Let's show them that we do understand that for every whiplash that they went through, every sleepless night that they went through being raped or whatever, that it did not happen in vain, that we actually are reaping everything that they sowed, that we are actually being respected as African Americans in America as citizens, and not just stereotyped and living in a never-ending cycle of welfare, of jail, of over-sexualization. Let's get out of this cycle and let's make our ancestors proud. Now let's move on to a happier beat, which is my favorite wink of the day. Now the wink of the day goes out to none other than Blac Chyna and Robert Kardashian. Now, if you do not know by now, Robert Kardashian finally proposed to his short-term girlfriend, Blac Chyna. When I say short-term, I mean they've literally been dating for maybe 6 months that we know of. You know, they might have been dating longer and they just now started coming out with it. Who knows? But to us, it's short-term. But he gave her a beautiful 7-carat engagement ring and they just look very happy. And I'm winking them out because I love their relationship. I think they fit each other. You know, they've both been hurt in different situations. He was hurt by his family when he gained all this weight and I feel like they didn't have his back, and then she was hurt by Tyga when he broke off their engagement to be with his sister. Yes, you heard it right. Her ex-fiance is now dating her new fiance's sister. She has a child with her ex-fiance, meaning that her child is her future husband, nephew / stepson. Yeah, I don't understand it either. But either way, this is the world we live in. I don't know. I feel like now it's normal for these kinds of situations to happen, especially in Hollywood. So regardless of the fact, I want to shout you guys out. I wish you guys an amazing journey towards your wedding. I hope it actually happens. I hope you guys actually last. I think you kind of bring out the best in each other. You know, you're helping him get back to being healthy and losing weight and eating right. And he's out on social media. He has a Snapchat. He has an Instagram that he's constantly posting on. So it's good to see him out, and he's also making you seem less scandalous. I think before you were kind of out there being a little bit of a, you know, a crazy girl is the least I can say, but now you're a little bit more wholesome. We see you cooking and being all wifely, and it looks good. So wink of the day goes out to you, Black China, aka Angela Kardashian to be, and Robert Kardashian. We wish you guys the best. All right, now to my favorite part of my show, the palm tree of the day. Now, the palm tree of the day today goes to another politician who happens to be on Trump's camp, Mrs. Sarah Palin. Now, Sarah Palin, who to me is just a joke, because a lot of the stuff that she says and how she talks is just like, what are you here for? I think it's another one of the Republican Party's like toys. I don't know. She just makes me itch a little bit. She's just so off the wall. She says off the wall stuff. Let me go into what really I'm shading her about. Now, if you don't follow social media, which is why I have my phone out, I'm always on social media. You gotta keep up with what's going on. Now, she got in a Twitter beef. Yes, a Twitter beef. A Twitter beef with Mrs. Azalea Banks, who is a female rapper who I guess has a following. To me, she's like in the same rank as Iggy Azalea, but maybe she's a little bit better, I don't know. But anyway, she got in a Twitter beef with Mrs. Azalea Banks. Azalea Banks tweeted her and said something kind of rude to Miss Sarah Palin, and so this is what Miss Sarah Palin said, who's 52, by the way. Hey, female rapper, listen up, little darling. No one has any idea what you're wigging out about on these bizarre, violent rants against me. But you're obviously not exercising enough intelligence to acknowledge you've been sucked into believing some fake interview in which I supposedly offered comments representing the antithesis of my truth. She went on to encourage Azalea and said something like, you should use your platform for better and use it to kind of push other things and just focusing on my issues. But that's not my issue is this. Miss Palin, you are 52 years old. You're a politician. You ran as vice president, as a potential vice president in the McCain administration. You have no business tweeting on Twitter. That is for your PR people. You know, I'm a PR major, so I know, like, I would not, me being a PR specialist, give my candidate or my, you know, client a phone to just go tweeting around, especially to people like Azalea Banks. Like, if you are trying to help Trump out, if you're trying to, you know, remain as a great politician of whatever, your job is not to tweet female rappers because it makes you look crazy. And then I guess she's a female rapper, but she has a name. Like, calling her female rapper, and we already know you think all black people are thugs pretty much, and you've made that pretty clear. You know, you're only digging yourself into a bigger hole. And then, you know, don't call her intelligence out unless you know what her school system is, of how she did in high school, how she did in college. Don't try and blast her intelligence. She's just speaking her truth, and you're speaking your truth. But if she didn't touch on your intelligence, why touch on hers? You know, it's not making you look good. Then you go back and retaliate, you know, and try and calm yourself down and say, but use your platform for good. And I'll go back and make sure my daughter's playlist has nothing that's anti-women, anti-polar, anti-whatever. And I'm just like, that has nothing to do with it. The point of the matter is, you try to come after a female rapper and you are a politician or an ex-vice president, you know, running mate. That's not your place. Learn your place. Like, I think you and Trump just, I don't know what is up with you guys. Like, yes, be active in social media is good for your, you know, young people presence, but we don't want to see you doing this kind of stuff because you look childish, and that's why I don't like you, and that's why I'm shading you. So that was my shade of the day. And that was it for this episode of Monroe's Corner. Before we close, I do want to thank everybody who has supported me. I mean, it has been an outpouring of support. I think we're at almost like 800 views in like 4 days that I've posted it. And I'm just very excited. I'm very humbled by everyone's love. I just pray that you guys may continue to share these episodes, continue to have conversations about it. You know, comment below and tell me how you feel about the topics and whatever issues you have. Just, you know, let's just keep this conversation going. Again, I want to thank everyone who has supported me, everyone who has shared, everyone who has liked it, everyone who has called me and texted me and said how great it is. I'm truly humbled, not by my doings, by my Lord's doing that this is happening, and I put it all in his hands. So again, thank you guys so much for watching Monroe's Corner. We'll see you next time here at the corner. thought I was done? Not quite. We have one more little segment that I like to call the trivia question of the day. This is only for smart people out there now, okay? All of you whiz kids out there. The question is, the U.S. military installed Area 51 in which state? Wait. Don't be too quick to answer. We'll find out the real answer next week. But if you do know the answer, feel free to comment below with your answers, as well as tag yourself on my social media networks such as Instagram at Marylynne_not_Monroe, Facebook Marylynne Muthoni, or my Twitter Monroe's Corner. And the top 3 who I feel had the quickest response to this answer will be given a shout out at the end of my next show, and we'll see how it goes from there. But again, thank you again for watching Monroe's Corner.